Organic matter doesn't come from nowhere. It's created by the grass. In a sand root zone with no organic matter in it, you won't be able to squeeze any water out of the soil with your fingers. You won't be able to pinch the soil and have any water come out. A plug from a green, this is the grass at the top. And right at the top, there is not very much sand in there, and there's quite a bit of organic matter. Quite a lot of organic material. And this is something that I think is an easy test to see if there's too much organic material and what we would think is not enough sand. If you can squeeze water out of there, you can see the water is beating up and glittering in the sunshine. We can actually squeeze water out of the soil. To me, that's an easy indication, without doing any laboratory testing, that the organic material is a little bit too high and that there should be either less organic material or more sand mixed in with it. Now, this is after, it's about 36 or 48 hours after the most recent precipitation event. So I would like that to not have water that one can squeeze out. On the OM246 test, I forget exactly what these results were at the most recent test, but I think it was somewhere around 8, 9, or 10%. I'll check that. I just looked up the OM2 from the most recent tests on this green, and the average on this green is 12%, a little bit higher than I thought. So it's no surprise when you get the organic matter at that level on a creeping bentgrass green, it may be holding some water, and that number on that green should probably come down. But you can see squeezing water out of there, it's less than ideal. That to me means the surface would be just a little bit too soft. One of the things that OM246 testing can tell you is if there is too much organic matter in the soil. And an easy way to tell that, if you aren't able to assess if the greens are too firm or not, or if whatever surface you're testing is too firm or not, what you can do is check after an irrigation event or after some precipitation and see if the soil retains so much water that you can squeeze the water out of the soil or pinch the water out of the soil through your fingers or with the pinch of your fingers. That's something that I think is an easy indication that there is too much water being held in the soil. And in a sand root zone, you can't squeeze, or I haven't seen yet, that you could squeeze any water out of a sand with no organic matter in it. So it's an indication that there's too much organic matter in the soil when you can squeeze water out of a sandy soil. I don't chase numbers, I chase performance. And on this green, I would be using the OM2 number to track the effectiveness of the upcoming nitrogen rate reduction to slow down the growth and slow down the production of organic matter, and to track the effect of any organic matter removal, and to check the effect of the sand top dressing that's applied. And the OM2 number can be really useful to see if the practices that are implemented have an effect on bringing the organic matter down. And as the organic matter comes down, the water holding right there at the surface, to the extent that it can be pinched out between my fingers, that's going to be reduced also. Sand root zones are not a good growing medium. If you would plant bentgrass seed in a sand root zone and then don't apply nitrogen and don't apply water, after a while you won't have any grass, and you certainly are not going to be accumulating organic matter in the soil to problematic levels. I think it's really important to recognize that the organic matter is not happening as a function of the grass. It's not like you can say every grass or certain types of grass are a big thatch producer, a big organic matter producer. The grass only produces organic material in the soil when it's growing. and is growing because of fertilizer that's applied, specifically nitrogen, and it's growing because of water that's applied. So the idea is to try to minimize the accumulation of excessive organic material by very careful attention to the growth rate. That's where clipping volume can be really useful, and just really paying attention to growing the grass at a rate that keeps the organic material in the soil constant. Once you get the organic material in the soil at a level that is producing good conditions, then you can track that over time. I recommend annual testing to make sure that the accumulation of organic material in the soil is matching the rate at which it is diluted or decomposed or removed. If you do that, and the best way that I know how to do that is with the OM246 testing, if you do that, you can really simplify the way that turfgrass is managed, and you can get complete control over the surface performance.